Welcome, everyone, to today's Gems from the Wisdom Traditions, a conversation circle. And in it today, we are going to be looking at the power to help. And in it, it's the power to help the homeless. So I want to introduce to you a very, very dear friend, not just to me and my husband, Cliff, but really to all of the people of this island, and particularly those in need. This is Blanche McMillan, who grew up in Waimanalo on this island in a family of 17, and who went on to have to raise 3 of her own children, to adopt 5 children, and to be foster mother with her husband, Willie, to well over 20. And she is someone who has been part of the healing community. She's someone who has been also part of the people who take care of those in need for a long time. And when COVID hit last year, she really went into full gear. And so I'd like for Blanche and I to have a conversation. Blanche is a person, as you will hear, of enormous and golden heart. And she is from that golden heart extending a tremendous amount of generosity. And she is also supported in this by a tremendous set of Hawaiian traditions that I think we'll be able to share with you over the course of this afternoon's gathering, and added in, I hope, by all of the rest of you with this overall idea of the power to help. So Blanche, why don't you just start by telling us what you did in about March of last year once the pandemic hit?
Well, just before we started in January, actually. Actually, we were trying to build that place as an agriculture land, as a farmland. And so I started, but then our people needed help. It was so sad that I couldn't stand any of our homeless people being out there while the COVID was there. So I decided on my own, without no permission, only God's help, that it was to bring home the people on the land. And that's what I did. Without no permit, no nothing. We just built the home and brought them in. And I walked the beach with the area where they were at. There were 32 of them, but 14 came home with me. And we brought them in on March 20th. We put them in the home. And then on April 2nd, we put it live on the TV, on the news. And I told them exactly what I did. And then they were very upset, the state and the city. But I didn't care because I wanted to do it for the people. I wanted to take care of them. I didn't want them to be hurt. I didn't want them to be sick. I didn't want the children to be not helped by other people. So I did. And I brought them in. With the grace of God, He blessed me with all this. And today, so I continued to do this. Then I ended up with 62 people. Then I started to have 100 people. And I'm still growing. But we have, the reason why I did this is because homeless people is just like us. They're no different than anyone. If you only know them and love them and always treat them as your Ohana, and I treat them as my family. And this is the way how Hawaiians, my family treated many of our people. That my dad was a very strong religion person. He believed that we are all one, we are all equal. And so I took that tradition and carried that on today. And this is what I'm doing today. is bringing home all the people that belongs on the land. You can't leave a land sitting there without doing nothing. And that land has been calling me for years because I was born and raised. My house is in the front, the land is in the back, and it's a 25 acres. The land has been crying out for so long. Finally, when I put the people there, that land is so happy. And now today, that land is feeding the people. In our garden, we have about an acre and a half with vegetables. We have ulu trees, we have papayas, we have bananas, we have avocados, and it's all growing because of the love that we put into the Aina. And that's the only way. And we sing in the Aina at the same time, just to see the flower grows. And and one more thing what I do, because the homeless has lost the love for anyone, including their parents. What I always teach my people is that you grab that flower that you love so dearly, you take it on the Aina and you plant that flower, and you put soil and you water that plant, and that plant becomes your life because it becomes beautiful as much as your heart is, the love. And that flower is the most beautiful flower that will turn out exactly like you and will always love you. And today, let me tell you something, that flower is beautiful. And today I'm still helping. I just brought in a family of 9, two family of 7 that was on the beach at Makapu. And I couldn't let them stay there. I walk the beach and I make sure I take care of the children first, then I'll take care of the rest. Yes. And that's how my heart is for the people. It's never for me, but it's for them. To see how much that there is someone out there that will help them forever until they move on into another transition area. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So one of the Hawaiian concepts that I really hear behind Blanche's story is that of aloha. And this isn't just something that we say for tourists.
Yeah.
No. Can you kind of give
okay, and there's
what
another
does aloha mean?
Aloha means a lot of things. Everybody should know that. Aloha means there is always hope in your heart. There is always things that is worth it in you, that is always will be there for you. Aloha will always grab you and hold you and always protect you. This is how I feel as an aloha. And whenever you need someone, the aloha is there for you. And another thing that I didn't say, because of our homeless people had lost God in their heart, I brought the churches to our people where they're living today. We have 15 different churches, and we're all equal. We are one. And they gave, today, our people they love the Lord today. They're there to do Bible study. They're there to worship. And they're there to make sure that all the people that comes in, they give the aloha, the respect to those who comes into the Aina, where they're at right now. And this is what we do. And that's what aloha is all about, is to respect others, to love those who come in. It doesn't matter who you are. That's what aloha is all about. Yes.
And when you use the word Aina, Blanche, for those of you who don't live here on island, the Aina is the land. And there is such a deep connection that I sense between the Hawaiian people and the Hawaiian land. And one of the things that we were talking about was this sense of abundance that springs from the land.
Yes.
So that part of that spirit of aloha, combined with the trust in the land, has to do with this generosity, with this giving. And I was telling Blanche, I could not imagine someone from Hawaii letting anyone starve. It's just like, that's one of the things I've noticed here in Hawaii. You're always being shared food with, right?
Yes. And well, in Hawaii, we call that Aina, that's the land. And whatever, if you don't take care of the Aina, you must malama the land. And if you don't malama the land will not take care of you. So today, we teach them what is the malama the land. So we malama the land so that the land can provide for other people besides us. We feed those who are on the outside too. I have a lot of people that comes to my place asking for help. So today in the property where I have the people at, we have a food bank there, and I'm one of the agents for the food bank. And we have churches that donate. Actually, my house is completely full by the help of all the people in the islands, people all over. Let me tell you, I have food bank on the land. My house has all the clothing where we dress and where we feed the people. And today it's still continuing on, and we're still helping those who need help.
So she has her
Yes.
own home where she grew up in the family of 17 children. And behind that, directly behind that, I mean, just right there behind it, is this 25 acres of Department of Land and Natural Resources land that they have entrusted to Blanche, and that she is using for this purpose. So this tiny house village that she is creating with the support of her beautiful family is just simply an extension of their home. So I thought I'd mention another Hawaiian principle that people should know, and that is the word Ohana.
Yes.
It kind of translates family.
Exactly. Yes, that's correct.
But it's not just your blood family.
No, it's not only my blood family. That is true. Ohana means family that surrounds you, that you see every day. That is your family. This is my family. When you come into the land, besides the homeless, you are my family. So I teach the homeless that you are my family, and my family is your family. We will always love you. We will always be there for you. And that's what Ohana is all about. Yes. Yes.
And another aspect of family that is really unique in my perception of the Hawaiian tradition is this term called hanai. And our closest translation in English would be to adopt. However, in Western adoption, especially in the past, it was a matter of like breaking off all ties with the birth family, and you take a child into your family, and then never the two shall meet, and it's very, very closed.
Yes.
But the Hawaiian system of hanai, or tradition of Hawaii, can you tell about that a little?
Actually, hanai means, other people who can't take care of their children, we grab the children, whoever they are, we'll take care of the child, but we never separate the family from the child. We share the child. Once the kids are there, when they're protected, when the family is ready, the family can come back and get the kids. But today's tradition is different. It's all to do with the state, all kind of laws and regulation. But during that time of the old Hawaiian style, hanai means you take care of the child, even if the child doesn't belong to you. You love the child as much as you love your children. You protect the child until they're off age and they're ready to go home to the parents. That's what it is. Yes.
Another concept that kind of struck me when I was thinking about this was, in order for you to get ready to do what you considered to be work that you were called upon by the divine, by Keakua.
Yes.
You needed to make sure that you were completely clean on the inside, like you didn't have any ulterior motives for yourself.
Yes.
So we have a concept in Hawaii of being pono. And can you
Yes.
talk about that a little?
Actually, well, we all, like I said, nobody in this world is perfect. You have another way when you grow up, you have your Keokua with you everywhere you go. Without him, you're nothing. So I tell people that. So what we do, when I have Keokua, when he tells me he's my boss, I'm not my boss myself. When he tells me what to do, I move forward. I have to. I cannot stop. I must do it. Everything must be followed right through. And then Keokua will always lift me up. And let me tell you something. It's not easy to run this kind of thing. It's not. But you know what? Let me tell you something. I just sit back and let him talk to me, let him tell me what to do. And only what I have to do is just clear up my mind. And that's all you see in front of you is a clear path. And a path that you will walk on, a path that is clear for you, and a path where it's going to be helpful for you. And when you see that beautiful thing in front of you, you know you did your job. Because if not, you don't see your path clear, you will never get ahead. And this is why I tell many people this. Always believe and always be there for him when he needs you. You need to follow his path, because without him, we are nothing. He is our savior. He is everything to us. He takes us on our journey, and you fulfill your journey. And this is what God is all about. And when he makes everything looks clear on you, everything's that you don't see it's so, people has come a long way. There's so many burdens on them, but God clears the burden off of you. He clears the whole inside of your body. He clears your mind from everything that you're carrying upon you, because it's not going to work when you have that on your mind and in your heart. He clears that. And once he clears, let me tell you something, you become powerful and you become terrific. You will never, ever forget who you are, because he put you in there to do his job. Yes. Yes.
Last week we had someone talking about the hero's journey, as a matter of fact, from the perspective of a mythologist who worked here on islands named Joseph Campbell. And he was talking about all these different traditions in the world having the hero's journey, and the hero hears a call. And if he has that strength and fortitude and that inner clarity, he answers the call and he goes on that journey. He doesn't know what he's going to encounter. And I'm sure on your way you have encountered many things
I have encountered, yes.
Never intended to. But it is a matter of listening and heeding that call to a duty.
Yes, that is true. And things, when you do this kind of stuff and you don't have the paper in your hand, you're not legal. You guys know that when you work for the state or city, you need a palapala. Palapala is paper. You need to have that before you walk the talk. Or not me. Just by God, everything went open the door, everything went on the land, and everything is today. They are there. They're happy. And the state and city does not bother me. And guess what? I don't have no money from the state, the city, or the state. Everything comes by faith and by the people. And this is who helping me today is all the people. Many love people who love what we are doing today. And we have I have been with the lieutenant governor. I'm with the state, the councilwoman. I'm with the state, the city representatives. All of them is with me. And I have 15 different churches. And I have people all over the world is with me. Every day I will get phone calls that they want to do things. I say, you know what, do me a favor. The first thing when I first went on the TV, I never asked for money. I only asked them for prayer. Pray for me and my people. And they sure did. And that's how things were opening. Everything was coming in for us by taking care of the people. So that's what we are living on today, by the people's help and by your help. Yes.
So maybe this is the last of the Hawaiian concepts I thought we could talk about a little bit, and then we'll throw it a little
Sure.
bit more wide open. Oh, well, no, there were two, Ike and
Knowledge.
yeah, which is knowledge. And then also I wanted to talk about mana.
Okay.
Yeah. So as you embarked on this project, it was so huge. I think you had this feeling of something greater than yourself. And I know you talk about keakuha, but in addition to that, there's a concept of spiritual power called mana.
Yes.
And can you talk about what that feels
Well,
like?
let me tell you a story about this. Before I had that, before I started all this kind of thing, it was to do with my father. My father would go and help people and heal them. My father would always have Keokua do all the work. Keokua would tell my dad who to go to and who needs help. My dad would just go there and pray upon that person, and that person is healed, and the person stands up and walk away. And so, and the knowledge is a thing that is the most important. I don't, during my time, I never had the knowledge and never had the wisdom. I never had the spiritual. I never had the bodily. Today I have all of that because of my obedience, my faith with the Lord, and everything today that I have. So during that time, my father was I watched him, I see what he can do, and then what he used to do is help those. And so when we say mana is the most powerful thing in Hawaii. Mana is, well, let me tell you something about mana. In the olden days, mana, when you say mana, things move. It never stays still. It moves. They move things. But today we have God. He is my mana. He tells me, and I move when he tells me. Hawaiian time, just the sound of their mouth, they do it. And I think moves because I seen it and I seen they do it. But today is all God, Keopua's work. Yes. Mana is a number one. It means power. Power means strength. Ikaika means strength. It seems like mana. Yes. And so this is what it's all about. When you meet up with certain people or with good people, you can feel the mana. You can feel the chicken skin. Because why? It's because the person has power. Mana in them. The truthful and honest thing that they have in them. Yes.
Gosh, I just remembered something else we talked about.
Ho'oponopono.
Yeah, if you want to talk about that.
Ho'oponopono, when you're having problem with your family or people around you, Ho'oponopono means get together with your family or the outsiders and pray to God and tell him to clear your way, clear everything, your mind and everything. You need to Ho'oponopono at all times, walk with Ho'oponopono, because this is the only way we can get from one place to the next. And that's how it is. That's what the Ho'oponopono is all about, prayer. And when you pray, everything will come in place and you become the number one. Yes.
Blanche came from the lineage of some of the Ali'i families, and those were the nobility. And she also came from priestly lineage,
Yes.
too. And I know there was a choice that was made
Yes.
there. And in both cases, there's a Hawaiian concept of Kuleana, or responsibility.
Yes.
So I get the sense that whether you're following more of a priestly path or you're following more of a nobility
Yes.
path, it's not for your own greatness.
No.
No, it just
Yes,
means you
all
have
depends, yes.
that much more responsibility
Right.
on your shoulder. You are,
Yes.
you have a Kuleana, you have a
Yes.
responsibility.
Well, in my father, we knew who we were because my father told us. So my father had either choice, become a royal or become a priesthood. My father gave up the raw side. He didn't want that because there would be a lot of fight, a lot of bickering. So my father took the priesthood. He believed in the Lord and he wanted to be out there to help people. And that's why he became a priesthood. He picked the priest side. Yes. But he never made us a priest, walk around with become, yes, or become a pastor or something. No, we never became that. We just came, I became a helper that who needs help, I will be there for them. Yes.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's what we had to present to all of you, and then we wanted to open it up to the rest of you for your thoughts and questions on this concept of the power to help.
Can you say something more about what you meant by knowledge?
When I say I didn't have the ability of knowing things like what I know today, how to put papers together, how to make sure that, how can I say that? The knowledge was that I couldn't put papers together. I couldn't even understand words that's in the important law bylaws. I didn't know nothing. I had no idea what I was doing. I don't know how to get an environmental assessment. I didn't even know how to get archaeologists. I didn't even know how to get soil conservation. So what I had to do was ask God. I said, God, you have to help me. Give me my knowledge and wisdom. I don't know nothing. I don't know. I'm in the corner right now. I'm slapped. I need your help. But let me tell you something. With the grace of God, he put the whole knowledge in me, and he gave me a book like this with the environmental assessment. And I put it all together. Just that environmental assessment would have cost me $7,500. But guess what? I got that free because I put that together. With God's knowledge, he taught me how to put it together. And I had zero for that to pay. Then he taught me, how am I going to get an archaeologist? I don't know nobody. Who am I? I'm nothing. So I prayed to him again. I said, you need to get me an archaeologist. Not knowing this guy was right down the road for me. And he was one of my best friend's friend. And he said, Blanche, I am going to help you because it costs $10,000. I said, what? I said, I don't have that kind of money. $10,000? You wouldn't believe it. He gave me the paper in my hand. He said, this is for you because what are you doing? Then I had a soil conservation that came from University of Hawaii. I don't know who's University of Hawaii. I never met no one. I had 4 people who came in and went on the land and took the soil conservation, everything. And that's when I knew the power and the knowledge, what I had to do. And that's what gave me my faith, and everything that I needed was all there.
So that word in Hawaiian, Donna, is ike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ike, wisdom
Knowledge.
or knowledge.
Hi, this is Ramdas. First of all, thank you. What you're doing is awesome, but I realize that it's not you who is doing it.
That is spirit. It's not me.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a book I'm reading right now called Altruism, and it's by a French Tibetan Buddhist monk. And what he says is that it's not when we decide, oh, we're going to do something. It's what's real altruism is when we feel we have no choice, is when we are compelled, where the divine within us says, this is what you're going to do, and you just follow. And those like you who are willing to do that, who are willing to open your heart and just let that happen, that's what makes the world a wonderful place. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ramdas, can you just share a little bit about the power of help that you've been given and what you're doing right now in India?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, so I've had a nonprofit foundation in India since 2006, and basically to help village girls, poor village girls, get educated. And we've been putting them, getting them into school and getting them educated and these kinds of things. And then this whole COVID thing happened, and I just, like you, Blanche, I just thought, well, yeah, I have no choice, got to do something, right? And so just put out the word to friends here, including Renee and Cliff and many others, and just said, what can we do to help these people? And we are now at the point where we are totally supporting 125 families up till the end of the year, until they can get their crops together. We are we're supporting girls in school. We built a home for a homeless group recently, a homeless family recently, and just all this aloha is coming in, and we're able to share it with these families, and it's just awesome to be able to, and as you know, to just sit back and say, Lord, awesome. I'm glad that I can watch this happen, and that I've had one or two things to do in the process, but it's really your power that has made it all happen. So.
And there's one more thing I need to tell you guys, because the city and the state told me not to build the homes, not to put up homes, but I never listened. I said, let me tell you something. Certain season have hurricane. Last year we had Douglas. I said, I don't care. Let me tell you something. I'm going to save life. I'm not going to hurt the life. You are going to hurt the people. But what I did, I saved the life. I built the home without them saying that I cannot build. I put them in a home. I sheltered that has a roof on so that they can be safe. And I took them out of the tent and I put them in a house. The next thing they tell me, you can't keep on building home. I was smarter than them. You know what God did? He made me build a platform from off the ground 2 feet high, and I put a tent on top of the platform. They looked at me and they said, who did that? How can you have an idea? I said, not me. I go like that. And that's why every time when they come in, it's a different thing. That's why they're so amazed. They're not angry, but they're happy. They're happy with what I'm doing because they can't do the things that I'm doing. They're leaving our people out there. Come on, we have so much land. We have so much thing. Use it. That's what it's all about. Use the Aina that are empty. Use it for our people. This is our people, all of our people. Do something, be there. Put them in a home. They're going to be happy. But they have to follow the rules. But we have rules and regulation, but it's how you put the rules together and how they understand. Because some of the homeless do not understand the rules that on the outside of rules that they have. It's rules that would make them understand and love the rules, is to teach them the rules. It's not, oh, you got to do this. You have to abide by this one. No, I don't have that kind of thing. It's how you can move them. Like I say, let's take care of the garden. Let's make food for us. Let's keep on feeding us. And that's what brings our homeless out. Bring their feeling how much their love can be put on the land for vegetables. And then plus you have to put them responsible for things like, hey, you gotta cook. You gotta clean the bathroom. You gotta make sure the shower is clean. And make sure we get security guards so people don't care. That's what I have today there. Something that are responsible for them. That's their doing, not my doing. It's their doing. And you know what? They are proud for what they are doing. And that's how they change. They want something that they can do, not what we can do. It's what they can do. Yes. And that's what we're teaching them today. They're so good. I wish I could make you guys see all of them. Maybe all you folks should come to our land and see how wonderful how they live. People just cannot believe how they live. They're smart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cliff describes the differences as people stand taller after they've been there for a little while, and their eyes clear, and they're willing to look at you.
Yes.
And there's just a certain glow about people. And we who have not been homeless perhaps tend to think that there's like us and them.
Yeah.
And I have to say that when I went to your Christmas party, I didn't really know in a lot of cases whether I was interacting with somebody who had been homeless and now was part of Blanche's little village, or someone who was not homeless at all and was just there visiting. I couldn't necessarily tell who was who. It was pretty phenomenal.
And more is the children is the most important thing with me. I make sure that the children is well taken care of. The children is loved by all of us. Whenever the children need something or they need help, I'm there, and then the parents will come in and help them. They said, don't fool around with the kids because auntie's gonna score all your fuss. And the children is first in my life. Yes, there, yes.
Donna?
Is the goal to provide homes and to build a community, or is it for people who are transitioning to other kinds of responsibility, or how does that? I suspect you could have a very large community if everyone wants to live there for.
Yes, you're exactly right. Yes.
I want to live there.
Well, let me tell you something. I bring in people, and I'm supposed to have transition out to Weinberg. We have another program there called Waimanalo Emergency Shelter. And that helps me to take people out and then go out into transition. From there, they go out to another area. That's my phone. And so that's the kind of thing we work out. But in my heart, I want to bring in 300 people. That is my dream. I want to bring in 300 people, and I really don't really want them to leave, to be honest with you.
And yet, if they get
Yeah.
so much on their feet and
Yes.
that
And
they're able to.
Yes, then I'll
make
let
their
them
own
go.
way.
Yes.
Yeah. And do some of them work?
Yes, yes, they do. They work. Mostly, I think out of 52 of them, there's about 20 something of them working here. Yes. They have good jobs. I look for job for them because I have friends that have carpenters. We have some of our people who don't even have the GED. We have 11 of them. We have a class, we have a program. It's in that property where we're at. They hold a GED class. So they're all going for their diploma. And then from there, what I'm trying to do is try to work with WCC and see if they can bring a program to us in that property so that they can educate themselves more. Yes.
What is WCC?
The Windward Community College. Yes. Yes.
Do you have a library?
A big party? Do I have a library? I wish I had, but we have Waimanalo Youth Project who handles the kids from 16 to 24. That's giving the GED and giving the kids OSHA and carpentry certified. That's what I have on the property. And from there, our people comes in and do the same thing what they do. Yes.
Some of the tiny houses that are on the property have been built by this other organization.
Yes,
That
that's them.
these
Waimanalo Youth.
at-risk youth are
Yes.
learning these carpentry skills in order to build homes for the homeless. Isn't that perfect?
Yes. That's what we have.
You've managed to get everybody vaccinated.
Yes, and actually we have, in my area, we have IHS, we have Department of Health, and we have Waimanalo Health Center, who helps me with our people there. And I make sure that each and every one of us have the COVID shot already. And we just brought in new people. I just brought in 60 more new people, And that's all I had to do was call Department of Health to come to my house. So they came yesterday. They gave the children all the nose, COVID, and then we gave the parents the shot. Yes, no one cannot be there unless they have the COVID shot. But the babies, I understand, they need the swab. We are all well taken care of. I make sure that, nothing goes out from the property. When they leave, they have to have the mask at all times. And they can't stay outside too long because I don't want them to be out there and bring back the disease in our property. Yeah.
And you've had people there who have been very ill.
Yes.
You've had people with, I think,
With heart trouble. We have people with asthma attack. We have people almost lost their legs. You see how we save life. We take temperatures every single day. We don't forget taking temperatures. We found out that we stopped 1 week. We were having people falling in front of me. Their temperature was so sky high. I had to call 3 ambulances for 3 people who were sick with heart trouble, with their legs. They had sores on their legs, was ready to amputate. And then we had another thing we had, besides heart, we had almost a stroke. From then on, we took temperatures, and now today we're saving lives. And we have seniors there who's 85 years old. The youngest of the seniors are 65. Yes. That's what we have. You see, I make sure that my mind is set on them, that they're healthy, they're fine. So we bring in a doctor from IHS, Dr. Ann. She comes every Wednesdays and she checks on them. And she makes sure that they're fine. She let me know that nothing's wrong with them. But if they have to go to the hospital, then I'll take them, or we call handy van to come and pick them up. Yes.
And do you have other plans? Because we have, in terms of Hawaiian agriculture, this idea of, you're farming up.
Yes.
She's right underneath the Ko'olau Mountains.
Yes.
So she's in the Mauka, the mountain part of the land. Do you have other plans for the Makai?
Actually, we have aquaponics too in the land. We have both of them. But the only thing is that the land that I'm sitting on right now is called a flood zone. Many years I raised and born in Waimanalo, in that same area that the state did not do anything about the flood. So what I told them, if you're not going to do the flood estimation, what we already had someone coming, was a civil engineer. He told me exactly what to do. So I took it into the state and I said, if you're not going to do anything, I'm going to do it myself. The reason why I have all the people who can do the survey, who can do the drainage, who can haul out all the dirt, I have all that. And I already put it. And so they say, oh, how are you going to have a plan? What I did, just before they were just about to say that, God had given me a plan. And the plan was the most beautiful plan that they never thought I had it with me to give it to them.
And then Mauka to Makai agriculture. Do you want to talk about that?
You see, when I first started, before I had the agriculture land, I was already working on baby Makapu. That's the one right across the Sea Life Park. And that's supposed to be, that is called a village, a fishing village. That's a Makai. That was supposed to be used for a fishing village. It was brought in the 1800s, but nobody took care of that area. So I became the president of that area. And that particular area, that is where the children of today will run that property. Because what I want them to do is to go out, get the fish and put it in the pond so that that fish will grow and will feed the whole village. It's the whole community, I call that. But I call that Waimanalo village, so that the kids will take care of all of them. I want to bring back the old tradition. From Mauka to Makai, we are already taking care of the Aina. We have all the vegetables and everything. When anything of a disaster or anything comes, we are prepared for that. We're not going to stop because we have the vegetables and we have the fish. Yeah.
And so the Hawaiian tradition, as I understand it, of Mauka to Makai would be a village would have like people up in the highlands
Yes.
doing this kind of farming, and then people who are near
Yeah.
the sea
Mhm.
are doing sea farming. So they're creating walls,
Yes.
sea walls, and I mean,
It's
to create
actually it's a pond. Yes.
and then they're keeping the fish within that pond
Yes.
until they grow
Yeah.
bigger.
And
Yeah.
so actually that baby makapu'u, actually, it is run by the city. City is leasing out the land for the Department of Land and Natural Resources. That land belongs to DHHL. So what I had to do was talk to two of them and try to see if how can I get that area. So they said, well, I told them to hold on because let me finish up the Aina first, the Mocha side. Then I'll go back and take care of the other side. So that is my dream, to bring back Mauka to Makai in the old Hawaiian style. That's how they used to feed the village, yeah? That's what I want to do, yes. And it's all in the plan right now. Yes.
And Kirk, I think you had something to say. Are you ready? I think I saw you reaching for your.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, thank you, Blanche. I'm just stunned. It's so inspiring to hear you talk about what you've been up to. I'm just blown away. So thank you so much for sharing. One of the, as you were describing sort of how it all came about for you as a person, right? So there must have been like a point where you discovered that this was the kind of work that you were going to do, and you knew it. You knew that this was your job, right?
Yes.
That you weren't the boss. The boss was telling you this is your job. I'm just curious about that moment. Was it a specific moment where you just went, oh, okay?
Actually,
and
before the pandemic came out, I can answer you that question right now. I got he waked me up and he talked to me and he said, go out and bring them out of bondage. And I was thinking, what is bondage? Then I remembered Moses' time. It was from Israel. You remember when they were all slaves? And he took them out of bondage and he brought them out. And that's when I realized it. God is talking to me and telling me to go get the people. And I sure did. The next day I did. And I went and go get the people and brought them home. Yeah.
and from there on, you knew what you were supposed to do.
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly. Yes.
How long ago was that?
Actually, it started last year in January, but then the sound became stronger in March. That's when I had to go out. But I went to see them. He told me to go and see them, how they're doing. And I did go to the beach park and I went and I talked to them and they said, Auntie, I'm going to tell you something. Everybody said, well, they're going to help us. They're still helping us. 5 years we waited, 10 years we waited. Nothing, Auntie. What's going on? When I walked there the second time, I said, come on, let's go home. They looked at me. They thought I was crazy. All the people there thought I was crazy. When I brought them home, they all cried. They just couldn't believe it. That somebody out there finally did something.
Well, you say you brought them home. You had a house big enough to put them in?
Yes, we already had 11 houses.
We have the
little
houses.
tiny houses. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Waimanalo Beach Park was just from one end to the other
Yes.
filled with encamped homeless folks.
Mm.
And so that's what she's talking about.
Yes.
She walked the beach, like she walked along all of these
Right.
homeless tents,
Yeah.
talking to all
All
of
of
these
them.
people. And many of them are
For Waimanalo. Yes.
long-time residents
Yes.
of Waimanalo.
And some of them been there for 25 years, homeless. Some been there for 15 years. Now you can imagine how they went through and what happened when people come in, the state comes in or the police, they wipe all their things away. When they came to me, they didn't even have ID. They didn't even have welfare help, nothing. So what I did, thank the Lord, I have friends all over, help them with their welfare, their ID, their birth certificate, their social security. Today, they are all legal, and guess what? They're even legal of voters. They're voters, just like us. They vote. Yes.
Wow. What a great story. Thank you.
Yes.
How have you dealt? Most people are very worried about the drugs in regard to the homeless. So, can you talk about that?
Well, I'll be honest with you folks, we took drug tests because I just took a journey. Let me tell you, I took an 8-day journey. It's like a retreat, and you guys all know that. When you take a retreat, you feel so light, wonderful, nothing's wrong. But when you come home, you can feel that heavy burden. There's something is wrong. So when I walked into the property, there were a couple of them who were dealing drugs there. So I walked up to them and I said, two of you folks are doing this. You need to remove yourself from here because you no longer can stay here. But before you go and look for help. That you were not, but not knowing there were some of our people there. So what I did, I took a test, yes, all of them, all 52 of them. 23 out of 52 was caught with drugs in them. What I did, I grabbed all 23 of them and I brought someone there that do self-control, find themselves. It's like a meditation class. And today, this is their 21 days of class. Today, they're finding themselves. They're not taking no drugs because they know that I am taking a random test without them knowing. Because I told them, yes, I was going to give them a 30 days here for them to finish up the classes. But to me, I feel that something is wrong, so I will give them a random test. So far, when I take an emergency random test, when I take that person's test, they no longer exist on the heavy duty drugs, but they have marijuana in there. So marijuana, well, they need marijuana because of the health. They have a lot of a health problem. Some of them have, heart trouble, lung problem. So marijuana, if they show me the blue card and they have the doctor's okay, marijuana is fine. But other than the heavy one, it's a no-no. So today they're on number 7 on the 21 classes. There are classes at their place. And then that is, you guys must know, he's the master of Master Chi. He is the teacher of our people that's at the property that we have. We have them twice a week, Thursday and Sunday. And doing these kind of classes, they really found themselves and how much they love themselves. And I look at them every day, they became more helpful, more of the self that they wasn't like that before. Their whole face are changing. When I first had them, their face was so terrible. You can tell that they were heavy on drugs. But today, their face are changing. They're looking good. They want to be beautiful. And I said, of course you can be beautiful. I can fix your teeth. So we have Keola Mamo, who's fixing all of their teeth. And then plus they want to look beautiful. We have a beautician come over, fix their hair. The man's hair look like a bush. We have barbers come over and cut their hair. And they look handsome. That's what we have at the property. We have all kind of people that comes in and help them. They're all doing fine. That was the best. That was the worst. The addict, the drug addict, yes, but no longer into the property.
One of the people that I know that has come to your place, and I think she's still there, is somebody who had a very terribly abusive marriage and then went deeply into drugs. And then since she's come out of it, all of a sudden, like when you had a gathering, her whole Waimanalo family was there and embracing her.
Yes.
In a way that hadn't probably happened for years,
yes. Right? And parents, kids walk away from their parents. And this one I have is a mother and father. They're in their 68, I think. And the kids never cared for the parents. Then finally, they see the parents have a roof over their head. The family is, I mean, they're happy. The family cries when they see the mother and father. Their life has changed. Now today, the kids are letting their parents watch over their children. Yeah. This is the kind of love that they have today. And the children really love the parents today. Yeah. It became a long way. So now when we have something events, we invite all the kids, all the family come in. They're very happy to be safe in that area.
It sounds to me, listening to you, that a lot of this power to help is like you are harnessing the power of an entire community to help one another.
Yes.
You've mentioned so many different individuals have so many different skills and talents that have been able
To help them all, yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of people wondering if I'm getting help all over. Yes, I am. And it's all volunteer. There's no one's paid. There's nothing. Everybody just volunteer the service. IHS, Department of Health, Manala Health Center, Welfare Office. We even have probation people with me that just came out of jail, but it's not for bad things. It's only because of drugs. That's why. So I have probation officers, I have lawyers. You know, let me tell you something. In my place, I have talent people, talent that they have brains. I have a sister. The sister is a Supreme Court judge. I have a lady, her father was doctor, a big doctor, well-known doctor. She does the coconut. She makes coconut fish. Yeah, she paints the fish out of the coconut. Beautiful. Hono,
art.
turtle, humu, nuku, nuku, ako, you know, the fish. She puts it on the coconut. She does that. And then we have some talent who's carpenters. They're helping build the houses. I mean, I have some talent people here that's living with me. I just couldn't believe it. And I have this old man who cannot even hear. And, you know, he reads my lips and everything. So one day I was just sitting back and, you know, my girl was doing the operation with somebody donated a tractor for the agriculture. This man jumped on this tractor and he operated like nothing. I said, oh my God, we have so much talent people here. Now they finally bring it up themselves. They're looking alive. I said, oh, do I have anybody here? That's very important that we can get everything that we want here. I always tell, but they don't, you know, and our people do not stop because I am an agent for the food bank and I have a food bank. I run a food bank in the property. I do all of that. So what they do, we have churches and everyone, and all our people that lives there, they all volunteer to run the food bank. I say, you know what? I believe that it's time for you folks to give back to the people. And that's what they do. They help me. They do all this. They do all the clothing. They do even food. You know, when we have our people at the beach who need food, they make food and they take them down to the down to the beach park. We feed them too. Yeah.
So what you've really done is you've unleashed their power to help.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You know, Mary, I'm wondering if you feel like you might be willing to give us a vote of thanks to Blanche and gratitude for what she's been able to share with us today.
Mahalo ke akua, mahalo e boing. I have learned about you from my sister who knows you from other people. And I'm so blessed to hear you. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for listening to the Lord and sharing your love, because it's with love that people feel that they have a purpose. Yes. And we're all called to serve and to love each other. So mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. Aloha.
I want to also let you know that as a follow-up, Next week, we will be hearing from someone from the Christian tradition who has been working with prisoners. And I believe he will have with him a formerly incarcerated inmate. His name is John Cooper. And he is going to be talking about earning our freedom. It will be a very well meshed presentation, and certainly the one that Blanche has given us following us hearing about the hero's journey last week and all the allies that come to assist when someone answers the call and goes on their
And
hero's
one more thing
journey.
I want to say.
Yes.
Her husband is the one that stayed with me from day one, and her husband is with me today, every single day with us at the homeless shelter. He has been there for all of them, and that's why we are so proud to have Cliff with us. He's one tough man that's with us. She has a good husband.
I do. It's
Yes.
so true.
That's why I want to thank you for being my partner. Yes.
Well, thank all of you too
Yes, thank
for
you
being
guys all.
here as such receptive listeners. And I know that this is something that's dear to all of your hearts, and also that in a certain way, what she's doing is, like as Kirk was saying, so overwhelming, it's kind of hard to even say something about, for any of us to imagine 52 people living in our backyard that we're responsible to take care of all of their needs. It's a bit overwhelming.
And one more thing I have to tell you guys, when I first started this, my neighbors didn't want to, it's next to the residential and it's in the back. They came to our meeting constantly, the 2 meetings we had. There were 5 people was against me and would badmouth me. God woke me up the next day and he said, you go out there and get 2,000 signatures. Let me tell you something. The next morning I got up and I walked the whole Waimanalo and I got over 2,000 signatures. And I said, you know what? I warn you folks. And that's how we started to go.
And,
See, who's
And
going
there-
to think of that?
and there was one younger man who was objecting, who lived right
Yeah.
across the street.
Yes, yes.
And what did his mom say to him?
Oh, I forgot.
I think she said something like, you just be quiet and let Blanche
Let's
do
do her work."
her work. She's doing good things.
Yeah, you're right. And today the son does not say anything or look at me. I said, that's right. But I had another neighbor who came, not a neighbor, but someone who works for the neighborhood board. And I brought out this Waimanalo Health Center to do the COVID testing. This girl came from nowhere. She said, you can't do that. You can't. I said, excuse me? She shocked me. I said, I'm saving lives. We're saving lives. What are you talking about? That I can't put a tent here and Waimanalo Health Center is running. Not me, Waimanalo Health Center. She said, you can't do that. You have to ask permission. I said, who do I have to ask permission? Waimanalo Health Center is the one that medical has license, everything. I don't have to ask you. So you know what I did? So we shut down, everything was fine. We gave everybody all the COVID testing. I went in the middle of the street and I said, God bless you all. May God protect you folks and God loves you forevermore. And I left. And everybody said, my, I said, please. I said, don't get into this kind of problem. And that girl never came around ever since then. She was so ashamed. And she on the neighborhood board now. They wanted me to be on the neighborhood board, but I can't. And they want me to be president for everything. I can't do that. I have more important things to do. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
You are
Blanche,
very
for
welcome.
sharing
And thank
with
you guys
us.
all for all the goodness you folks are doing. Many more. Yes.
Aloha nui. Great to see everyone today.
Yes. Continue on doing the good work.
Mahalo nui loa no po'o mana'o.
Aloha. Ahui ho.
Hui ho.
you.